Good morning. Time for coffee and go golf. Dale Branham's latest game. It is available from Lulu for $3. I'm getting ready to play test his wrestling game. This is going to be amazing. You do not play wrestlers, you play a promoter. And your job is to match your wrestlers on their circuit to earn as much money as possible. It's going to be a very, very cool wrestling game. Not to mention the wrestling itself will be fun. Okay, Big Country Go Golf is what we're doing this morning. Right, so let's set this aside. So yesterday morning I played my first complete 18 hole. You can see it right here with my 4 golfers. It was so much fun. I recorded that. It took me 59 minutes to play the complete thing. I don't like my videos to be over an hour. But before I shared it, I sent it to Dell and said, hey, if you have time, watch this. Make sure I'm playing your game right. And, well, the reality is I was not scoring the birdies right. So it turned out that I wasn't understanding his simple explanation of the rules. And so we had a chat yesterday. We did a chat. We did a actual face-to-face chat on Skype. I'm not Skype, but on Discord. So face-to-face via video conference. And we talked about when we do his big book, this will have to be rewritten. So even a guy as dumb as myself can understand what he's getting at. Because it's probably written just fine, but for some reason I can't. I had a hell of a time processing what does he mean. When I did the read-through proofread for him, I was looking for other problems. I wasn't necessarily proofreading it for, and I had play tested, so I felt I knew the rules, so I wasn't worried about that. But there's no doubt yesterday I felt like I needed to get that fixed. So most of the courses are going to use a D12 for a hole, D10 for a hole, or D8 for a hole. This is going to be a tutorial, by the way, so I won't play the whole 18 holes live here. I don't want to be on here all night, or all day, or all morning, excuse me. And your golfers are simply rated either a king of the greens, or a power pro. And you'll say, well, geez, that's it? Well, what's the difference? Well, a king of the greens has a real advantage of being a more accurate, and the chance that they're going to go over on a hole, which would be a bogey, or double bogey, or triple bogey. You see these guys as precise, controlled golfers, right? A D4 golfer is the king of the greens, right? And he is really going to be a little more accurate, and a better chance of being under par, but also are actually really a better chance, I'll say under par, that's not totally accurate, but a better chance of not going over a hole, okay? And the problem with being a king of the greens is on the big holes of par 5s, par 4s, he has less of a chance of getting close, right, to score low. And that's where the guys that are power golfers, this guy has a chance on any hole to be under par, but still score lower, right? Unfortunately, though, he's going to have a greater chance of going over and getting a birdie. So you can see the value of the kind of golfers they are. So you say, oh, that's it. These just two, yeah, but again, that's the ratings, right? This is what makes Dale's game so amazing. It's the mechanic, the probabilities, the simplicity, and then his rules on how you actually read these dice. How you read these dueling dice to get a result to scores is just amazing. So yesterday morning, my foursome, I made a foursome of golfers that live in Newburgh, in my fictional world of Big Country Golf. Adele does a brilliant job of incorporating my Big Country universe. Very good. I mean, it was inspirational. I read it yesterday morning, and it inspired me to put golfers in Newburgh that are actually at the Aces Golf Club, and they're playing on what's called Dew Sweeper course. And that's the name of the course at the Aces Club in Newburgh, right? And so I made my golfers. I have Nathan Watkins. They call him Padre. He's a 29-year-old priest, a man of the cloth, and a scratch golfer. The guys call him Padre, of course, and joke that God is on his side. He is a green king, D4. And he won my play yesterday morning. However, I did the scoring incorrectly, but Padre did have God on his side yesterday morning. Then we have Mr. Hart, John Hart, 59-year-old. He's the older statesman of this group, this foursome. Hart is a respected local businessman and fine golfer. He is healthy. He lives healthy and is addicted to golf. Therefore, he is fit and it defies his age. He is a power golfer. He started really rough on the front nine yesterday morning, but came out on the back nine really strong, and he tied for third in this foursome. And then we have Ray Burns. They call him Burnsy. He's a 31-year-old World War II vet. Sergeant Burns, USMC, survived the war in the Pacific. He has USMC tattooed on his right forearm. He had hoped to be a pro golfer before the war, but the war happened. He's a power pro. He also uses the D6. And then we have Simon Coleman, Whiskers, they call him. He's a 37-year-old English professor at the local university, Newburgh University. He wears a full, unkept beard, hence his nickname. And if he's not lecturing or giving or grading terms, he is on the links. And there you have it, folks. He's a Green King, so again, he's a little more technical golfer. And there are my four golfers. I'm going to use them in this order, and I'm going to score them in this order. And very simple for scoring, right, is I just put down my front nine, my back nine, and then I'll score them per hole as they go through hole one, and I just jot down their score, and then I can tally both their strokes and their if they're under par or whatever. So Dell in the book, which will probably again as we rewrite, as we prepare his tennis, his golf, because he's got tennis, hockey, and wrestling. Hockey and tennis are done. He's just finishing the writing of the pre-made teams and things. Wrestling, we're pre-testing, and he's going to make his pre-made wrestlers, maybe 40 or 50 universe wrestlers that are in the universe, and you can make your own wrestlers, of course. And then we have, of course, golf and football. And we're going to eventually get all those done, and he may publish them individually as, again, e-books, but we're going to put them together in a big book too, Dell's Sports book. I don't know what we'll call it. I don't know, but they're so much fun. And they are so simple, but they're so addicting. Okay, so Nathan Watkins will be, and I did Dew Sweeper, right? So yesterday morning, we were at the Aces Club, which is where they're from. And that was a Saturday morning, and I'm going to say they traveled over to, let's see here. I'm going to say they traveled over to, let's see here. Let's go with the nines. We're going to go to the nines. So these guys load up next weekend for a 4-day weekend. They kiss their wives and their children goodbye in 1948, and they get on the train. They grab their golf clubs, and they're going to take a long 4-day weekend over at the nines, and they're going to play some golf. And so again, I like my games to be narrative. I like my games to have a sense of the whatever it is, whether we're doing 1958 NFL or I'm doing my big country universe in football or whatever. I like to imagine the lifestyle, right? And so you would get on a bus, or you get on the rails, and you go over, get a hotel room right off the golf course, or stay at the golf course. And these guys are basically, they could be pros or amateurs. They can be really good. However, in the universe, it's going to be assumed they're all scratch golfers, right? Even if you're playing amateurs. And these guys I consider amateur golfers, okay? But that doesn't mean amateurs can't be playing in opens, etc. And be giving the greatest competition to the best golfers in the world, which used to be true before everything became pro golf, right? Okay, so anyway, we're gonna tee off with the Padre, the 29-year-old Catholic priest who, when not, administering his duties for the Newburgh neighborhood there, whatever neighborhood there in Newburgh, he is, and of course we have our Catholic priest, we have our businessman, so basically I've made my religious character, I've made my capitalist, respected businessman, my war vet, and my Jewish English professor. So like a joke, right? When a Catholic, a capitalist, a war vet, and a Jew went into a bar, you can imagine the joke, right? So anyway, and I like to be diverse that way, of course, right? Okay, here we go. And being 1948, I just imagine like this here. It's just beautiful. This is more, they would be dressed, right? Socks, the short pants, the driving cap or the golf cap, right? Pretty cool. All right, so these guys are setting out early. These guys are dewdroppers, as Dale said. Dewdroppers was a derogatory term for people who were layabouts, didn't get up and get to work. And so they're known as dewdroppers because they are housed. Their local club is the dew sweeper. And so other golfers refer to them as dewdroppers. So these dewdroppers are going to travel over to the Nines and spend a 4-day weekend. And they're going to play a little golf. And I'm going to play probably the first few holes here to teach it. All right, so again, we know the par will correlate to the difficulty of the die. And we're going to have Watkins up to tee off. And again, these are one roll for the hole. So I'm saying he's teeing off, but this is going to basically be for the whole hole. And hole 1 here at the Nines, I'm going to put the Nines so don't forget where we're playing. Okay, the Nines, Watkins, it's a 10 difficulty. So it's a par 4, and I am going to note beside this 4. So I already know it's a par 4. So, and then whatever I roll, score-wise, is going to give me strokes. However, as Dell said, he didn't put it in here that way because he felt it might be difficult for people to score. So I may or may not record his strokes. All right, so it's very simple. It's a dueling die system. He wants to be, and Dell described this to me yesterday, what I was doing wrong. I was taking the greatest distance and considering that a better score. He said, no, just the opposite. You want to be closest to this number without going over. So it's more like Price is Right. So if this is a 7, I want this to be a 4. If it's a 3, I want it to be a 3, right? So you think, oh, you want it to be a 1, that's 2 under, but it's not. A 3 is perfect. This would be an eagle, right? A 2 would be 1 under par. A 1 would be, right? See, that's basically how it works. So what I was doing wrong was I was thinking, wow, if this is a 1 and this is a 9, we really did well. So I was literally reading the difference. And Dale said, you read the difference, but you want to be closer. And instantly it clicked. I went, oh, I get it. And so we need to write it that way so people will understand close without going over. Right? So here we go. He tees off 1 and 3. Okay, so 1 and 3. So he's under, which is automatically going to be par. But he's not. This is 2 or less difference, par 3 hole. So he's going to be par. He's not under. So Watkins will be par. Now I would have had that. And if you look at my score sheet from yesterday, so many birdies, just way too many birdies. And that's because I was looking at the difference between the two. And of course the scores were these guys would be the 4 best golfers in the world, right? So I made a mistake there, but it wasn't his fault, it was my fault. All right, and we're going to be moving on to Mr. Hart, our capitalist businessman, 59 years old, D6. Now, in real life, back in the day, he would have been a martini drinking, cigar smoking, but I have him as a healthy living, young 59-year-old. Back in 48, 59, he would have had to have been, right? Because these guys are hard smoking, hard drinking, meat eating, right? So here we go. We've got a D10, and we got him as a power pro. And, okay, so 10, 3. He's under, but he is not under par, so he is going to be par. Right? Even if it had been a 6, he would have still been just par, right? Okay, sweet. Okay, so that's Hart. Hart is par. And Ray Burnsy, they call him Burnsy, and our Marine, our former Pacific War survivor, who has probably seen some of the toughest things any man has ever seen. Here we go, and he's going to be over 2. So he's over by 2. If the golfer die is higher than the whole die, then at minimum we got a bogey. If it's adult times 2, right, and 4 times 2 over the whole result, it's a double bogey. So is he twice over 2? Well, 2 times 2 is 4. He technically is. So I'm going to give him a double bogey. Again, Dell will probably watch this. He might correct me on that, but he's a +2. So Burnsy, our war veteran, might be grumbling and mumbling some curses under his breath. And of course, he'll have to apologize to the Padre for any foul-mouthed indiscretions he so delivers on the course this morning. Here we go. And Coleman, our Jewish English professor will quote Wordsworth or Shakespeare, right? All day long. So you better like that. He's under, but he's within 3. The par is 3, so he's going to be par. So right now we have 3 at par, and Burnsy had a double bogey on the first hole. All right, the second hole is a par 3, so I'm going to write 3 in here. Now again, we know they're all par. We know who's over, so we got their strokes, right? Watkins had 4. Hart had 4. Burnsy had 6. Oh, by the way, the difference in the result, you look at that die, and it tells you what he did to go bogey. Okay, so I can't remember now what the number was. Well, it must have been a 4. It was too much rough, so he ended up in the rough, cost him a couple of strokes. So Dell explains how you earned that, which is very cool. Okay, and Coleman, he was par, so he's got 4 as well. So now we can actually track. This is a 36 par for both the back 9 and the front 9, which I guess is normal, right? All right, so hole 2 is a D8, so this is going to be a tougher hole, especially for the power golfers, right? Because they have a real good chance of, the great thing about being a power golfer is he has a chance to being really close if the die is high. However, the chance that these guys can go over is about 50%. All right, so again, Watkins, our Catholic priest, tee off here on hole number 2, right? All right, he's 2. Ooh, so see, this is what I was doing wrong yesterday. He is 6 points away from the hole. That to me was like, wow, that's definitely a -1. But technically, you'd want this to be a 7 to be really good, or you want it to be actually an 8, which you can't do with these dice, which means this hole is difficult. If I roll an 8, it's very hard for anybody at this hole to get an eagle. So obviously, he couldn't eagle this hole unless I rolled a 4, right, or a 2, etc. So anyway, he's still under, but he's under. So he's going to be par. So Watkins is going to be par here, 3. All right, our power golfer, now, if this is a higher number, our power golfer still has a chance to eagle this hole. 4 and 3, ooh, close. So he is under, right? And is he less than par? He is, so -1. So our capitalist businessman actually got 2 on that par 3 hole because he's close without going over. If it was a 4, it would be an eagle, right? So pretty simple, right? All right, next up, that was Watkins and Hart. Okay, we're on to Burnsy, our Marine, who's also a power pro. Ooh, he went over again by 1, so we got a bogey +1. Poor guy, he's having a rough day. And Burnsy ain't going to be happy, as again, this is just the beginning, so he better start improving, or he's going to be doing a lot of apologizing to our priest in this round. All right, and here we go, our English professor. We've got 4 and 4. He eagles, son of a gun. So our English professor's feeling it today at the 9s with a 2 under. Wait, on a 3 par. Would that be a hole-in-one? It would be a hole-in-one, would it not? It is. It's a hole-in-one. So he's going to end up keeping that ball, writing on it the date, his friends, getting a snapshot, and he's going to end up keeping this ball mounted on a trophy for a hole-in-one at the 9s. So they all celebrate a little bit. He quotes something amazing from his literary history. And we move on to hole number 3. Hole number 3 is a par 4. It's a D10. Here we go. And again, we're back to the Watkins, right? We got 2, 10. So again, he's under without going over, but 2, not enough to be a birdie. So he's maintaining his par, so 4. Hart, the power pro. 6, oh, he really goes over, and he goes over by 5, slice. So we got us a double bogey and sliced it to really cause himself some problem. 6 for him. Wow. Okay, now Burnsy, who's not having the best outing of his morning, and 1 and 3, so he's going to be over by 2, and again, over by 2 is bunker, so he ends up in the bunker, but, and again, this is technically more than double, so it's going to be a double bogey. I think I'm doing this right. right? Because he's double one is two, and he's over that. Unless he means double the par. Oh, if it's two times the whole die. Yeah, so this is three times the whole die. So he's double bogeyed here. If it's three or more times the amount, it's a triple bogey. So it's plus three. And this at this point, Burns is now at the top of his lungs, letting out a profanity that he definitely must apologize to the Catholic priest for. A 7 on that hole. And here we go. And Coleman, who's had a hole in one on the last hole, he is again, the chance that he'll go over is much lower. And he does not go over. And he's under by 3. Is that less than the par? It is. So he's going to birdie this hole. So he's going to get 3. So Coleman has had a hole in one, and he's birdied. And right now, he is leading this group easily. All right, hole number 4 is a par 5. So we're using the biggest, baddest die for this. Padre tees off here. And the odds now that Padre will go over this number are really about a third. And he does go over, and he goes over by 4. So he's going to triple bogey this. Plus 3. He's going to get an 8 on that hole. That's horrible. So Watkins now is at plus 3 today on the 9s. Okay, and then our power golfer, the capitalist, Mr. Hart, they call him. They refer to him with due respect. And 9 and 6, so he's within 3, and the par is 5, so he's actually going to bogey that hole. So 1, that's beautiful. That's a 4. See how smooth it is? Once you recognize the difference in the dice and how it scores, it's just so smooth. All right, just like the football game, it takes a minute to understand what he means on the scoring, but boy, is it fantastic. All right, a Marine really needs to kill this. And yes, he's going to be under, but is he under by on a par 5? Is he 4 or less? He is. Oh wait, no, he's not as close. He's not as close here. So it's just a birdie. Is he 4 or less? Oh no. So on a 5 hole he needs to be 4 or less. No, so it's going to be just par. Sorry, and 5. I still have to think about it. So it's not yet second nature for me. After a few games, it'll start becoming very second nature. And Coleman, we're back to our D4 green king. And again, he is under, and he's under 4 less on a par 5, will be a birdie. So Coleman is having a heck of a day. He is at -4 on the going into the 5th hole. All right, hole number 5 is a target par 3 D8. So again, things are getting a little tougher here. Easier to make mistakes on these par 3s, right? You don't have as much room to make up on a bad stroke. So here we go. Watkins on the 5th hole is going to be under, but he is not under par, so he's going to par that. Hart is under by 2, and that is under par, so he's going to birdie again. So he's under that 3 par. Is it 3 or less? It is 3 or less on a par. It's 2 or less on a par, so he's going to actually birdie this. So Hart, who had a double bogey on the 3rd hole, has now had 2 birdies, and fantastic. He got to that in 2 strokes on this par 3. Burnsy, our retired war veteran from the South Pacific. Oh, and he's over by 2. Man, oh man, it's not doubled or anything, so it's just a bogey plus 1. 4 for him. Burnsy really not in his. Maybe it was the train travel, right? He's not at home in the dew sweeper, on the dew sweeper course, which is where he's comfortable. It's his home. You know, maybe he doesn't like train rides, the noise, you know, who knows, right? But here we go. And our English professor, he's going to be under by 2. Again, is that 2 or less on a par 3? It is. So he's going to birdie this. And folks, I'm telling you, this guy is now at 5 under on the 5th hole. He is having a brilliant outing. All right, the 6th hole. It's a par 4 target D10. Here we go. And we're back around to the Padre. Here we go. Padre, 1 and 7. So again, he's going to be under, so that's par, but he's not under by enough to score a birdie, right? Hart, we got 9 and 3, 6. So again, he's going to be under, minus 0, par, but again, not under by enough to earn a made birdie, right? And Burnsy, who needs to start playing well, oh, he's under, but he's, again, just par, which is fine. He'll take par. He's feeling better about himself when he gets a par after a triple bogey on 3. And here we are again. He is going to be 2 on a par of yes. So he's going to be a birdie again. Unbelievable. Which is 3. Holy cow! He's 6, minus 6 on 6 holes. Is Simon Coleman, our English professor? Fantastic. All right, Watkins. Here we go. Okay, we're going on to again. I'm going to do the whole front 9, and then I'll conclude this tutorial. So 7th hole is a par 5, target D, 12. So again, the bigger the par, the bigger the challenge die, right? Okay, so here we go. Watkins again, our Padre, tees off on the 7th, and he will be 2 under here, which is 2 less than, yep, so he's going to birdie this hole, so good for him. He gets 4 on 5. Hart is our power golfer, but again, that 12 is going to be harder to go over. Oh, but he does. He triple bogeys this. Plus 3, triple bogey, unbelievable. And 6, why? He shanks it, ends up putting himself in a bad position, and it costs him strokes. He ends up with an 8 on a par 5, so he has a rough hole there at his Hart. Burnsy, who's trying to make ground, is under, so he's going to par, but he's not close enough to get a birdie. Close enough to the pin or to the hole, however you want to look at that. And last but not least, our dominant English professor at today, having a great day today. That's golf. Golf is literally a day-by-day performance, right? Some weekends or some days you're great, other days you are not. 1 and 9, so he's under, so he's going to par this 5. And we got hole number 8 coming up. Hole number 8 is a par 4. That's a D10, right? And Padre's back up. And he's going to be under, but par, so 0. It's a 4. All right, our capitalist businessman, Hart, he's under, but not close enough. On a par 4, he is 2 or less. Par 4, no. So he's not. He's going to be par on that hole. All right, our war veteran is under, but again, can't birdie, so he's not having a great front 9. And last but not least, our English professor, Simon Coleman, is over by 3. That's 3 times the difference, so he's going to triple bogey. That's going to affect his great outing today. He gets a 7 on the 8th hole, son of a gun. So let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's at minus 3, though, on the day. And that is fine. He'll take that, considering his cohorts. I don't think any of his cohorts, they're all above par, the rest of them, right? So, fascinating group here. Okay, the 9th hole. Here we go. Simon. And the 9th hole on the 9s is a 4. So, D10 again. And here we go. Padre. Padre's going to be under, and within 3 on a 4, he's going to be under 2 or less. Let's see here. On a par 4, 3 or less is a birdie. So he's going to birdie. Good for him going into the taking the break as they turn to go into the back 9. Take a break, get a martini, get a Bloody Mary or something here. The Padre, nah, he'll probably just have a glass of water, right? But you never know. You never know. All right. So Hart, our capitalist businessman. And he's going to be over by 1, son of a gun, so he's going to bogey this. It's a bogey no matter what, but he's close. It's not a triple bogey, but he's going to bogey. And again, Hart is a clean living capitalist, so he won't have a martini or Bloody Mary at the turn, right? So here we go. And Burnsy, our Marine, let's see what he does. He is going to be fit, so he's under, but he's not under enough to do anything but par. So he's had a rough day. And last but not least, taking a break before they go out for the final, the back 9. taking a break maybe in the clubhouse here. He's under again, but he's not under enough to do anything other than par. And he's going to be at 4. So let's tally them up for the front 9. And let's see who's leading. And then that'll conclude my coffee and tabletop sports this morning. So we got 7, 11, 19, 16, 20, 28. Is that right? No. I can't count, can I? 7, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 26, 38. So he's 2 over. He's +2 on the front 9 is Watkins, our Padre. Much better. Yesterday, every one of them were in negatives by a large margin, so I clearly was doing it wrong yesterday. Okay, Hart, let's see here, 6, 10, 14, 22, 39. So he's 39. He's 3 over par on the front 9. So again, these aren't bad scores. These are legitimate scores of scratch golf, good golfers. Burnsy, though, started very rough. Poor guy, 10, 17, 22, 30, 39, 43. So he's over 7. He's +7 in the front 9. And he's definitely having a drink. Probably straight Scotch whiskey or something. He's downed a couple of scotches here, right? He's grumbling to himself. He's had to privately apologize to Padre for some of his remarks in the front 9. He's just not having a great day. And again, it's a 4-day weekend, so maybe he'll have a better day tomorrow. And then by the time they get on the train Sunday and head home for domestic bliss and back to work on Monday morning, maybe Burnsy will have had a better weekend. So here we go. Coleman. Let's see here. Coleman gets, again, he's had a great day. 5, 8, 12, 14, 17, 22, 31. So he's under 5. He's -5. Coleman clearly enjoying a cocktail here before they go on to the back 9. And I would imagine, again, quoting some legendary literature that I would not be capable of drawing from my memory, is Coleman. And they'll go back out here in a few moments and finish the back 9 and then go on about enjoying the rest of their adventures while on this little golf vacation. Thank you for watching. Good day.